Irish Nation, welcome to the Notre Dame NC State preview. This is a heavily favored game here for Notre Dame. I'm going to jump right into the background on win probabilities, score predictions. In this game, Notre Dame is a 22.5-point favorite on the latest check in Vegas. We opened as 23.5 points, so stayed right around that number. SP Plus in the advanced analytics would predict 19.5. So they're all triangulating around a big 3-touchdown score of about 42-21 is where most of the analytics are centered. ESPN has us favored, winning 92% of the time in their win predictor. Most importantly for Notre Dame fans, once again, we're really excited to have Evan on from the Red and White podcast covering all things NC State here. We'll have him join in just a second for Notre Dame fans to get an inside look behind enemy lines. My score prediction for this one, I'm going to go 45-20. I think Notre Dame covers. Again, that's going a little bit against the analytics. It's going a little more than what Vegas says, but I think Notre Dame's got the offensive firepower to do it. But a big caveat, as we're about to find out from the Red and White podcast, another high power quarterback in CJ Bailey, another prolific offense. We've seen that give Notre Dame some trouble. We've also seen it work out pretty well against Arkansas and maybe to a lesser extent, Boise State, maybe not quite so prolific, but a couple of solid offenses we've been able to shut down. But that is the calling card here for NC State. Could be a high-scoring affair. With that, let's dive right in to our interview with the Red and White podcast. Excited to preview the NC State matchup, bringing on a guest to the show, Evan from the Red and White podcast, covering all things NC State Wolfpack. Evan, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here, man.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
We were just talking here as we were getting to know each other. My wife's from Salisbury, North Carolina, so not too far from Raleigh. We were at the Hurricane game at Carter Finley back when Brian Kelly decided that, passing the ball and running shotgun was we stayed for the whole thing. We stayed through the rain delay and everything else. So got a soft spot in my heart, or maybe some, undiagnosed problems still from nightmares from that game. But thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, of course. Still one of the weirdest game plans I've ever seen in my life. You know the hurricane's coming and you're throwing it 40 times. Like, thanks, Brian Kelly. You gave us that game. I appreciate that.
Brutal. Well, Dave Doran is doing Dave Doran things. A winning record for the Wolfpack this year, but feels a little up and down. You had a win that was technically non-conference game against UVA. And, now that win's looking better and better with Virginia here rising to the top of the ACC, but a couple other losses along the way to Duke and Virginia Tech. How are you guys feeling about the program? What's kind of your overall outlook on the year?
I think you pretty much summed it up. Dave Doran doing Dave Doran things. And I think that's where people are, I don't want to say at the end of the rope, but just like, all right, we know what we're going to get out of Dave. Like, it's not going to be awful and it's not going to be great. It's going to be somewhere in the middle. And that can be really frustrating, man. You're just kind of stuck in purgatory. And, you don't feel like you should have lost the Duke game. You beat them in pretty much every facet.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know. It feels, we probably all would have projected to be here at 4-2 at this point going into the Notre Dame game. But it feels a little bit, disappointing. And that's kind of maybe not the right word to say it, but I don't know, man. I feel like the offense finally has enough pieces, and then the defense is a sieve, and you just can't put it together, man. You just can't put in a complete game, and I don't know why. I don't know what it is, but it's so frustrating to feel like you're so close to having a good season, especially when the rest of the league is pretty much trash. That, man, it just feels like it's right there, and it's right out of reach again. But there's still a lot of football left, but I think that's kind of the general consensus of the fan base. It's just we kind of know what we're going to get, when it's going to be up and going to be down. It's just not going to be consistent. It's just where we are.
It does feel like you got your quarterback. You mentioned the offense now finally has the pieces in place. I think a recurring theme for Notre Dame fans is we start these preview shows and it's, oh wow, someone's best quarterback in the last like 4 or 5 years. And oh wow, a lot of weapons there that they got in the portal. And I think that's kind of another story with NC State. CJ Bailey, at least on paper, balling out 1,600 yards, 74% completion rate. What makes Bailey so good? What's his game look like? And how do you evaluate him as quarterback of the offense?
Yeah, I mean, CJ has come a long way than he was last year. He's very raw. Like he was in high school throwing to Jeremiah Smith and I forgot the other guy's name already, but he didn't have to do a whole lot, right? It's like you go that way, I'm gonna throw it that way, and he would just throw it to him and just rack up huge yards. So he came in and very unpolished quarterback, and you could see that last year. He made a lot of mistakes and just fundamentals that he hadn't learned. But this year he started to, especially early on, the first few games, I'm like, this is a huge leap for him. Eyes downfield. He's moving in the pocket. He's not, paralyzed with decision making. He's just seemed to be more command of it. But then the last two games, you see a little regression. Campbell's Campbell. I don't really count that game, but the Duke and Virginia Tech games, you're just like, I don't know, man. It just he's not all there yet. He's excellent, and he's going to keep getting better. But I think his stats might be a little deceiving on where he is. But his confidence is what makes him. But he's got a great skill group around him. I think if you didn't have that, it would be a different story. But they just take so much pressure off him, and then when you can run the ball with one of the best backs in the country, like it makes throwing the ball a lot easier.
Yeah, let's talk about Hollywood Smothers. He's averaging over 100 yards a game. That's more than Jeremiah Love. He's averaging more yards per carry. That's more than Jeremiah Love. He has more missed tackles than Jeremiah Love. Like, I don't think there's a lot of teams we're going to play this year where the opposing team, look, I'm no offense, I'm still taking Jeremiah Love with the football over Hollywood Smothers. But I think this is the first time, maybe all season, where we're going to say, hey, the opponent has better stats than Jeremiah Love. Like, how special is he to be that balance for CJ Bailey?
He's unbelievable, man, and whatever happens each week, that's kind of my like I get to watch Hollywood play. Like that's where I am in this. He is unbelievable running back. He is to me, and I think to most state fans, he's the best running back we've had in the last 20 years since T.A. McClendon. Like he's unbelievable. He makes guys miss. I mean, I know it's Virginia Tech or Campbell, but he had 4 carries for 153 yards, and like they didn't play him that much, right? I mean, he's like, holy! I looked at his stat line. I was like, what? This is absurd.
Wow.
But he does everything, and he's not afraid to lay it on the line. Like he's out there. No, he's not the biggest guy. He's out there, picking up blocks. He's doing what he needs to do. And then at the end of the game, man, he gave him a press conference. He's like, "Oh, Hollywood, what do you think about your stats?" He's like, "I don't know what I did. I'm glad we won, right?" And he's genuine like that. It doesn't come off as coach speak when a lot of players say that. He seems genuine, like, "Hey,
Mm-hmm.
man, we won. Look, go talk to this guy. This guy's great." Pointing to CJ or whoever. But he's shifty. He's patient. And when you have an O line that is notoriously not a great run blocking O line, having somebody like that can make them look better has been phenomenal. He's a joy to watch, man. And I think if you haven't watched him as a Notre Dame fan, you're going to enjoy watching him. And I would recommend you keep watching him because he does things that are he's just good. And he'll be in the pros next year. I have no doubt about it.
Yeah, it feels like that's the calling card here for both offenses is that run game up front. In terms of who is CJ Bailey getting the ball to, is there any one star you're looking to? Like, this is an area Notre Dame has struggled in coverage. It's gotten better the last couple games, but I think for most Notre Dame fans, jury's still out. Who do you think is most likely to get free in the Notre Dame secondary?
Yeah, that's interesting, man. The last few games for NC State, we've had 6 guys with 5 or more catches.
Hmm.
And it seems very cliche to say spreading the ball around, but we really do have the best group of skill players that we've had in probably 10 years, just as a collective. Wesley Grimes has been leading that charge for the most part, got a little dinged up. Terrell Anderson has come on the last couple of games and really good. He's a young guy, 4-star out of Georgia, big body guy. Like when I first saw him, I was amazed how big he was, and he's been phenomenal. Justin Jolie, tight end, he doesn't get enough targets, but he makes the most of what he does. And yeah, Keenan Jackson has had games. He's hit, I want to say a freshman role because he's not a freshman anymore, but he's up and down. And Reed Hoffman came out early in the year, true freshman out of Florida, phenomenal, and then maybe hit a little bit of a freshman wall, made some mistakes in the last couple games. But I'd look for Wesley Grimes, Terrell Anderson, uh, Noah Rogers was a 5-star transfer back from Ohio State. He still has some growing to do. He hasn't exploded, but like Wesley Grimes and Terrell Anderson are the guys that are most likely, and then Hollywood out of the backfield and Joe Lee from the tight end spot.
Yeah, that's a lot of different guys, balanced offense for sure. I was looking up an efficiency metric. SP Plus had NC State as the 42nd offense, and you just look at some of the stats. I get maybe it's strength of schedule, maybe it's because, like you said, it's Campbell or it's ECU or it's Virginia
Yeah.
Tech, but it feels like a ton of production on that side of the ball. How do you think this matches up now going against? Look, I don't think we have the defense we had a year ago, where I'd have said it's a top 5 unit, but I mean, this is still a top 25 defense. How do you think NC State stacks up now as the competition here picks up in October?
Yeah, I mean, this matchup worries me. Notre Dame notoriously has an enormous offensive line and a great running back, and then it's no different this year. I think the offensive line is really strong, and Jeremiah Love is a load. And we've had success stopping the run, and what NC State's going to do is they're not going to be, completely stop any team, right? We just don't have the players for that. But what they're going to do or try to do is take away what you do. Right? They're going to try to make Notre Dame throw. They're going to try to make CJ Carr beat you. They're going to try to not let Jeremiah Love beat you. And they were relatively successful doing that against Virginia and Wake Forest when they were just leaning on their running backs and made them one dimensional. He made Robbie Ashford at Wake Forest try to throw, and he's just not a good thrower. And that's how we were able to win that game. But we still have the propensity to give up dumb, big plays. And our secondary is not the best. And then I'm watching this game. I'm watching that game, Notre Dame, Texas A&M game, and it's just like score after score after score. And I'm like, oh my God, this is a nightmare. Like, this is going to be a terrible matchup for us. My co-host, who I wish could get on here earlier, disagrees with me that this is going to be a bloodbath. I am really concerned that Notre Dame's just too big and too fast for us on the defensive side, and just will be able to do whatever they want offensively. And then it becomes a shootout. And then, I like our offense, but we haven't played anybody with the level of talent that Notre Dame has.
Double clicking into that defense, if you've got a strength, like one thing you think is most likely to give Notre Dame trouble, where are you looking on that side of the ball?
Uh, I don't know, man. Like, a lot of people are going to say linebackers, right? Because you look at the numbers, and Caden Fordham has a lot of tackles. Sean Brown, probably our second best linebackers, hurt. AJ Richardson was a transfer in who was really playing well, got hurt. He's out. Uh, so it's not them. I mean, I guess it would be up front. We've got Sebastian Harsh and Cian
What a
Sloan.
great name for an edge rusher, by the
Oh,
way.
and yeah, he's lived up to
Harsh
it, man.
straight havoc. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, so I would say probably the line, but even then, like our defense is tough. It's not where we need to be in the secondary. I mean, probably one of our best players to get talking about is our nickel Jackson Vick. He was hurt for a couple games. I don't know what his status is right now. Our secondary is young. Our safeties are relatively new, and that's why it concerns me so much, man. Like I said, watching the Texas A&M Notre Dame game, and just like this is bad for us. So to answer your question, probably the defensive line. I'm not confident about anything on the defensive side of the ball. Just really not right now.
Yeah, it feels like if State is going to keep this one close again, 3 touchdown underdogs here. It's got to be making us one dimensional in one direction.
Yeah,
Sounds like from your perspective, stopping the run has been your calling card if there is one, and then you're playing on CJ Carr to finally have a freshman game. We haven't seen it yet. He's been steady as can be.
yeah,
Also, I think distributes the ball pretty well to a bunch of different guys, but that's what you're ultimately playing for is, get in a shootout, hope you get some freshmen and mistakes, try to make both sides one dimensional. Any closing thoughts as you step back and look at the matchup? It sounds like overall maybe your co-host is thinking this one's closer. You think it might be more of a bloodbath. Any other closing thoughts from the Wolfpack perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I think our offense can keep it close, right? I think they should be able to keep it close. Although I've said this before, I don't know how many years ago when we came up to Notre Dame last, and the moment being at Notre Dame, like I really think that impacts teams like us who don't play there often. My hope is that our offense keeps us in the game, and Notre Dame is kind of sleeping through this one and looking forward to USC next week, and maybe we keep it close. But I think the matchup is really tough for us. Just being honest, I think Notre Dame's a strong team, and it's just a really tough matchup for what we're trying to do. Um, so yeah, we'll see. Watch Hollywood though. I get to watch Hollywood another week. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Watching Hollywood Smothers. Well, Evan, thanks for joining the show. Appreciate
Of
the
course.
insights here from inside enemy territory, and best of luck to you guys this weekend.
Appreciate you too.